morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. We are back on the conversation. It's the Tuesday edition of the program. I am Abibola Bello.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us on the show. I am Ajibola Ojeshola.
Good morning, everyone. I am Adibimpe Omotayo.
Right, welcome to the show, and I'm sure that did you watch? Did you watch the Starboy?
I did.
Yesterday during his inauguration.
Whose inauguration was it, really? Was it Elon Musk's or
It was
Donald Trump?
It was Donald Trump's inauguration. Because it was flanked by his boy. And they all made it a memorable event for them. And during the inauguration, it was all quiet. Once the inauguration was done, we saw back the Trump.
Yes.
The Trump that we knew. And he started jiving again, and his jibes and all of that. But during the inauguration, one thing that I saw at that inauguration is wherever you are, just ensure that you play your part well. Barack Obama, George Bush, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, 4 former presidents in the hall. And then you know what? I was just like, okay, what was going through their minds?
Yeah, what was going through their minds?
What was just there on their minds? I couldn't read their minds.
I couldn't
read their minds.
I could read Kamala Harris's mind. She was.
Does she look bitter?
She was bitter, of course. Well, of course she was bitter. She wasn't happy.
You just look at it. How did I lose this man?
Exactly.
Like, what happened? How did we get it wrong?
How did we get here?
But hey, it just again showed that America will be America. Yeah. And indeed, America is for the white folks.
Exactly.
And it has just 2 genders.
Yes.
Yeah, male and female.
Yes.
Male and female.
So I mean, if not for anything, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people, are galvanizing support for Trump, because they believe he will bring back that saneness into, the LGBTQ community and issues around the fact that how can you say that as a child you want to change your gender? What do you understand by that? So many things that yesterday represented.
Yeah. I know, like you rightly said, so many jabs coming from typical Donald Trump. Yesterday, remember we mentioned the increment of tariff on international trade here yesterday.
That's right.
He mentioned that.
That was the first thing he talked about.
And I'm sure the heartbeat of those immigrants in the United States of America now will be beating like this, because it will really, really come hard at them.
Yeah. But again, so their executive orders, they also still need to be passed into law.
Into law, yeah.
So I'm sure that all of these things will still receive a lot of pushbacks from the lawmakers. Let's see how it will go. But truth is, Donald Trump is back.
He's back. And I listened to an interview granted by Professor Bolaji Akinyemi yesterday.
No.
And the man,
he
went on and on how disappointed he was at the inaugural speech of Donald Trump, that he threatened the rest of the world.
Oh, well, yes, that was what Bolaji Akinyemi said. But again, that some of those people, they will read between the lines and probably see, through the speech itself. But whatever it is, our guests yesterday confirmed that Donald Trump will put America first.
Yeah.
Whatever you think it is about
He doesn't
America
care.
first. So, well,
and Professor Akinyemi also warned our own dear president to be mindful of Trump.
It's not. They don't tell somebody now. when you receive the pushback or the backlash, you will sit down, and then sometimes you will not, like they will say, you will not tell a child not to go and be leprous.
Yeah.
As long as he can stay in the forest all by himself. So let's see how this will pan out. Let's take, and then congratulations, Chelsea back on the winning ways.
3-1 against Wolves yesterday. What a fantastic match. But the earlier part of the match, Abimbola, was quite tough. Those guys packed their bus.
I didn't watch that match because I didn't want to have hypertension.
I did.
I said no, because
Jackson was wasteful as ever.
I wasn't sure of that match last night, so I didn't.
Jackson was wasteful.
I was just doing something else. But at the end of the day, I kept
At least we won.
monitoring.
3-1.
So congratulations to the Blues.
All right, let's start the show. Let's take our news points for today. Ajibola, what's your news point?
I remember that Abimbola and I actually discussed this particular matter some time ago. It was on the news point, and the NCC then denied that, okay, there was nothing like that on the radar. Eventually, it has happened. 50% tariff hike. Nigerians may spend 6.74 trillion naira on calls. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, approved a 50% increase in call tariffs on Monday, which may raise the average cost of calls to 16 naira per minute. Based on the 2023 National Telephone Traffic data, this hike could generate over 6.74 trillion in revenue for telecom operators in 2025 if call volumes remain stable. Hence, Nigerians may pay these amounts to the telcos. However, this projection excludes the impact of free and discounted call promotions, which may alter actual revenue figures. An analysis of data from the latest 2023 Subscriber Network Performance Report by the NCC showed that in 2023, total outgoing telephone traffic was 205.3 billion minutes, while incoming traffic stood at 2.32 billion minutes. The report as of December 2023 stated that total outgoing local and national traffic call was 205 billion, 298 million, 104,995 minutes, while that of incoming call is about 203 billion. And this implies that Nigeria spends about 408.5 billion minutes making local calls in 2023. Since there was no fresh data yet for 2024, our analysis was based on the available data for 2023. The length and breadth of this story is the fact that you start paying 16 naira per minute for your calls. So 50% increment in tariff is here to stay.
How much were we paying?
Oh.
Okay.
How much were we paying for calls before?
I think it hovers between 9 and 12 naira,
So
depending
16.
on
The network.
the network.
The network. Oh,
And
okay.
as it stands, NATCOMS, that is the National Association of Telecommunication Subscribers, has announced plans to sue the federal government of Nigeria for the 50% telephone tariff hike. But wait a minute. Now, this is the angle I am coming from. The last time there was a tariff hike was 12 years ago, in 2013, and we're in 2025.
So
where we're now buying bread for over 2,000 naira.
So it's justified because those guys are in business.
Businessmen.
They're in business to make profits. But then
Everything, they're also facing what every Nigerian is facing.
True.
Especially
energy
when you
crisis.
talk about, especially when you talk about for a business owner. So what I'm glad about now is the fact that, okay, there's a break. They were planning 100%. Now the NCC has mediated. You cannot do 100%. Do 50%, which I think
it's fair.
is fair enough.
It's fair.
It's fair.
Yes, Nigerians will complain. I mean, you are taxing us over everything. But if you were in business, wouldn't you also want to make some profits?
Definitely. You're quite right.
So,
and beyond this 50% increment of tariff, what will be the quality of their service?
the quality of
So that
service,
when I call Adebimpe or call Abimbola and you cannot hear me,
Yeah.
I hope you are not going to charge me.
yeah, they're charging you already because it is per second. And it is counting. So maybe what they also need to now work better on is, if the call is not connected, it shouldn't count.
Yeah.
So if it's not counting, you're not debited.
Okay.
But once it starts doing 0, 1, 2, once you cut off, you hear your balance, it will bring it and tell you right there and there. So I don't know how it's going to get automated. If the network is bad and there's going to be that possibility that you might not hear me, then let it not read. Let it just hold that sound, and you know, at the end of the day, go wale. And then we know that, okay.
And aside from
there's
the
no
calls,
connection.
we will also pay more for data.
No, that one, if you're paying more for calls, you're paying more for data automatically.
The younger generation, anyway, they'll tell you that, they will have to buy more data.
I don't mean it's a combination of the old and the young.
Calls, you know, and sending SMS.
Everybody will be fine in this case. Okay, let's take the second story this morning, where the Minister for Communication and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, is saying Tinubu to build a $1 trillion country. And in the report, Nigeria will soon become a $1 trillion economy, notwithstanding the initial difficulties. The Minister of Communications, Innovations and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, said yesterday. Tijani said Nigeria's gross domestic product would increase substantially within the next 2 years, with 21% of the increment coming from the Information and Communications Technology ICT sector. It shows that Nigeria would survey prosperity within the next few months. Tijani and his Youth Affairs counterpart, Ayodele Olawanle, spoke at the Public Servant Training Institute, Kubwa, Abuja, during the commencement of the training program for 500 data protection officers for the National Certification for Data Protection, Nigeria and West Africa. Tijani said this administration is investing in the ICT sector as a major driver of the national economy, with specific attention to the deployment of artificial intelligence, digital transformation of government services, connecting the citizens with digital medical services and infrastructure, and promoting entrepreneurship and innovations. So, here we are.
$1 trillion economy. It's achievable. And of course, when you look at some of the policies of the federal government so far, they are actually targeted at ensuring that we realize the, excuse me, the $1 trillion economy of Nigeria. And so many factors, you know, are connected to us having that kind of big economy.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that, you know, he said this administration is investing in digital transformation of government, you know, digital medical services and infrastructures, and promoting entrepreneurship, innovations. I'm glad, you know, particularly glad about the digital medical services.
Right, let's take your story.
Okay, back here in Lagos, our governor, Sanwo-Olu, pledges to work with new Lagos Speaker. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, pledged to work harmoniously with the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Meranda, to deliver policies that will benefit Lagosians. Sanwo-Olu made this known while receiving the new Speaker and other principal officers of the House who were on a courtesy visit to the governor at his office in Alausa, Ikeja. The Speaker was received by the governor and his deputy, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, shortly before the commencement of the weekly State Executive Council meeting. Sanwo-Olu led the Speaker and her delegation to the council chamber where this... What's going on?
Really? Are you doing
What's going on? Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so the new Speaker visited the...
Yeah, okay, visited... led the Speaker and a delegation to the council chamber where the Speaker and executive members pledged to work to continue a good work relationship. Okay, all has been said. The new Speaker, Mojisola Meranda, you know, paid a courtesy visit to the governor and his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, yesterday, just to show, okay, we're ready to work together.
Well, and, you know, she's also been receiving a whole lot of visitors. Everybody, you know, trying to visit, solidarity visits and all of that. It's good to solidarize, but, I mean, let the work begin. Let us allow her to work. Let us allow her to also, you know, soak this in, because honestly, it is a whole lot of work.
It is.
For the Speaker. So many things will change for her personally, and it's a whole lot of responsibilities that, you know, this job will be bringing to her. But let's say how, you know, she would function. But again, you know, women, we can multitask a lot. But then so many things will be happening this time round. The executive and the legislature, in fact, the three arms of government, they
need to work together. Yeah, they need to work together for the good of Lagos State. And you know, this is the first time we're having a female speaker in Lagos State, and oftentimes we have had it repeatedly that what a man can do, a woman will do it
better.
All right, let's take our hashtag for today. Was trending this morning. Well, this man, Donald J. Trump, is trending on the X platform this morning. And Ajibola, I don't know, you asked that question that whose inauguration was it? Was it Elon's?
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was going to ask that question.
Was it Elon's
or was it exactly?
So here's the thing. For the next 4 years, be rest assured that on X platform, we will breathe everything about Donald Trump because Elon will push everything that has to do with Donald Trump in the next 4 years. In fact, we'll be tired of seeing him. So this time around, he doesn't even need all of the regular medias.
He doesn't.
And well, since he came back yesterday, he hasn't said anything like you're lying, you're a liar. Those were his favorite words during his first tenure.
And aside from his visibility on X now, we're also going to be seeing more of Donald Trump on TikTok.
Well, for those who are on TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, so I really don't.
I'm not on TikTok as well.
Okay, you're not. Yeah, that could be true. You know, there was actually a court order banning TikTok, and then he has brought it back.
He reversed it.
So I think maybe he loves TikTok. You are on TikTok.
I am on TikTok.
I'm not.
Because Donald, is he very visible on TikTok? Yes.
He's very visible on social media.
All right. So maybe
why was he pissing up and down yesterday? You know.
Don't you know him? Are you just knowing Donald Trump? But did you notice that while he was taking his oath, he didn't place his hands on the Bible?
No, he didn't.
He did not.
He didn't.
He didn't place his hands on the Bible.
And some people were watching. Some people already knew he wasn't going to do it.
He didn't do that.
And he didn't.
He didn't do that. Well, be ready for Donald Trump's drama for the next 4 years. And, you know, another thing he did with the executive order he signed yesterday, so many he signed, he's also saying that the U.S. will take a leave of the World Health Organization.
I was shocked. I was shocked.
And a lot of Americans are saying, not even now that there's an outbreak of bird flu and a couple of other diseases, the WHO is there as an advisory world body. Why are you exiting, or why do you want the US to exit WHO? Some climate change. I said.
Remember, we also mentioned the Paris climate change yesterday.
Yes, just yesterday we talked about that, and you know that's another thing he signed yesterday is birthright citizenship.
Ending birthright citizenship.
Where everybody there would want to up and go.
Abibola, it will not fly.
To the US.
It will not fly.
If you like, born.
It will not fly.
Well, so
never say never.
It will not fly.
You know why it
will not fly?
Because UK stopped it. And they did it successfully. So for the US, it might take time. But if they are also looking at, you know, just a little bit of restriction, they may give it conditions.
Maybe, yes.
They may give it conditions.
Not total.
Maybe not total.
Yeah.
Maybe if you've stayed in the US for years, but maybe not for people who they track you. You come in and then you're coming to give birth and you carry passport and you go out. Okay. Well, those are the trending stories as well as our hashtag for today. We'll take a quick break. When we return, part 1 of the conversation will be here. And today, of course, we're talking about what again concerns us here in Nigeria, and that is food. They always say that once there is food, then half of man's problems are solved. Well, here we are in a country where we keep talking about the federal government, but this is a time to now also start asking more questions from the state governors. Today on the program, we're taking a look at the role of state governors in food sufficiency.